Hello and welcome to Tournament Poker Project. For the first time, this is me from Essex, Jon.
And this is Tain.
And we are two poker players, recreational, certainly not professional. And this is our learning journey to get good enough at poker to be able to go and play in the World Series of Poker and compete in the World Series of Poker in Las Vegas. This is our episode 0. This is weird. We've done loads of episodes. If this is your first time, big shout out to you. If you just tuned in and it's your first time listening, we've actually done loads of these. We just thought this is an idea to record a pre-episode, let you know what it's all about, and maybe a little bit just to. I think the first few episodes we're very kind of, we've never done a podcast before, and it's kind of like we're in there. We go off on a lot of tangents, which is good, which is what the podcast is often about. But stick with it because it gets good. It gets a bit more structured. But in a nutshell, this learning journey that we're going on has come really from. We just wanted to do hand analysis, didn't we? We wanted to study poker. We wanted to get better at poker. Like, we loved playing the game anyway, but just on a kind of pub level. And we wanted to get better. And hand analysis does that. Sitting down with one of your buds, looking over an old hand, talking about the different decisions at each point. And I think initially we are just talking about what might he have. And I don't think we back up a lot of what we're saying with concepts and theories, but you'll see as the episodes go on, we quickly start to learn more concepts and theories. We learn more about GTO. A key one for me was ranges, learning about ranges, and then all the decisions and our opinions of things become a lot more kind of evidence-based, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So one of the things that I really wanted to push on with this episode 0 is that the point for me of sharing our journey is that you do get to join us on that, and you get to see where we start from, which is very muddled, very mixed. We know a lot about nothing and not much about everything.
It's a curve, right? It's a learning curve.
Yes.
We don't pretend at any point to know poker inside out. We don't, and we still don't. We're like 7-8 months into this. We started in April. We're in December now. We still don't pretend to know all of it, but there's been definite improvement.
Exactly. And it's kind of almost imploring people to persist, that there are specific times where you can actually see our learning drop, where something's like, oh, there's a little nugget. And from that moment on, every single pod improves and every single analysis improves. And we're hoping that if you're listening to this and you're on that same journey, the things that we can share that have worked, the things that haven't worked, when we're analysing a hand, it might be that you can relate to it and say, you know what, I struggle with that. That's exactly a thought I've had. I don't know why I can't get my head around that. There's some personal things that affect how we learn and how we improve. I've got ADHD. And Jon?
Yeah, so actually, during the recording of the pods, like back in April, I didn't realise this about myself, but around sort of end of summertime, I've diagnosed myself with autism. So I'm currently on a waiting list to be officially diagnosed with it, just for my own further understanding. And everyone's got their own reasons for wanting to get diagnosed, and I've got mine. But so that's quite an interesting fact as well. And I think understanding that about myself then unlocked some maybe ways of learning and discovered some things that I might be particularly good at or have to give me an edge, or autism, where it gives me an edge. And that was kind of a discovery during the recording of, or in the midst of recording these pods. So that was cool. That was when GTO just kicked in. I suddenly realised I can memorise all of the GTO opening ranges for all the positions and several different stack depths, which, like looking back, obviously that's going to help a lot. Yeah. But I think before, I knew GTO was something I had to learn, but I was just in the kind of excitement of the whole thing, and it was like researching all these other things, and I would just go after and research things that took my fancy or that interested me at the time. But yeah, realising that, hang on, I've probably got quite an edge being able to memorise this pretty quickly, and it's so key understanding GTO, obviously to deviate from it and exploit and whatnot, but actually understanding it as a baseline. So yeah, that was a massive turning point. I've not had to top up my PokerStars account since that happened. So I'm finally kind of only in the hundreds. Like let's put it on the table. I'm still not in the thousands. I only ever topped up $50 that back in April, May, whenever it was. But once, and I think I topped up again, and then once that GTO, the GTO thing clicked, I've not had to top up again. I'm up to over 300. We're not on huge amounts of money at the moment. We're not playing the big stakes. We're playing the proper bankroll game as well. I think is important to say. We're not like, we've both got full-time jobs. We earn decent enough money. If we wanted, if we wanted to be reckless with it, we could go and start playing. I'm going to start playing 300, 400 quid's worth of tournaments a month just out of my wages, and maybe we'll get a big hit. But that's not really what we're doing. It doesn't seem like the right way to learn. We want to start with smaller stakes because you don't need to play massive stakes to learn. We're not doing it to have a bink. We're not doing it just for one big win to then go to Vegas with. That's not the point. We want to use this whole journey to get good enough to be able to really compete at Vegas and have a good shot at sort of making some cashes in some big tourneys over there. Yeah,
one of the things I'm doing at the moment is specifically playing $1 tournaments, and it took a mindset shift to readapt to not see big wins. Like I never get a win more than $10, $20 because that's the level I'm playing at. But it's important to me to really be able to grind, play that level constantly.
Which has got to be hard, right? Because I feel like at that level, some people just don't give it. They're just there, whatever, but all in.
And this is it. If you can't consistently beat the people playing at $1, I can't possibly think that I'm going to beat $10. But it's also about that bankroll management.
Yeah.
That I should be able to organically build a bankroll up using $1. Like it's a volume fact. When you're playing at $1 and you're beating it, you just need to get volume in. And I want to be able to see that and see it slowly grow and play more. And then when I'm actually at the exact bankroll to move up, doing it then. Because previously I'm pretty sure I'm playing above $1 level.
Yeah,
but
come on.
I don't
You're
want
at least $2.
$1.50. Let's go with that. But I don't want to put any more money in. I'm not because I can't or because that's some kind of failure. This is a part of my ADHD that I need to discipline, and it's a really difficult thing for me to do.
So you're trying to break it.
Yeah, basically, my ROI at the moment is probably about $300 down, and $300 of that down is all being silly and playing $30 tournaments, $50 tournaments. Having a couple of beers and thinking I can have a good win. And the problem with that is that sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll play a $30 sit and go and I'll come first or second.
You almost need a separate bankroll for this, like a recreational one and no one playing serious now one. And when you're, and actually have them separate, it can't be, when I lose, that was just playing. And when I win, that was a real game. It's got to be, I'm now about to play a game. I've had a few beers. This is just recreational. I'm just doing it for fun. Because, at the end of the day, the reason we've started all this is because we enjoy the game. We don't want to just turn it into work or, just study. There are going to be times where we just want to play it for a bit of fun, and that's important as well. You can't lose sight of that.
Yeah, and the big thing about the GTO is that we do talk about game theory and we do try to understand it, but you need to understand it is very much from a novice beginner level, trying to piece together the bits, the low-hanging fruit, the benefits of GTO, trying to put the concepts together while also trying to play better.
Yeah,
because there's no one alive who can learn GTO, so there's always going to be failings, and it's trying to hone that in a way that we can understand and that we can grasp.
A big part of the GTO thing for me was just actually understanding what it really meant. Even 7 months ago, to me GTO was a bunch of charts that said open with this hand, fold with that hand, and it was just like this mathematically correct way to play. And I didn't know much more about it beyond that, but it was Andrew Brokers' book, Play Optimal Poker, that changed it for me. That's when I really understood what GTO actually meant, all about equilibrium, about, yes, mathematically the correct way to play, but how you use that understanding to actually go and play and make money, i.e. exploit, understand what the opening ranges should be, what you're seeing people do as in terms of what mistakes they're making, and then, okay, just starting to actually know, well, that particular mistake, I know how to adjust from GTO now to exploit that particular mistake. And so for me, GTO or learning it has all been really about understanding how to exploit someone on the fly, how to work out how to exploit someone on the fly. In game, you've just met them, you've played a couple of hours with them, they're making some really blatant mistakes, and just starting to intuitively know, drawing from your understanding of GTO, how to exploit that person. And that's just a game changer, literally.
Yeah. For me, like, GTO is very, 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 very different. Like, even though that's obviously the same ultimate goal that we're trying for, where a big part of my ADHD struggles, per se, is that a lot of things will be scattergun, and I'll have 30 different concepts and ideas. I'll watch 10 different people trying to teach me stuff on YouTube. I'll read different books teaching different methods, and I'm trying to piece all this together in my mind, and it's obviously not going to fit, because I don't think it will fit in anyone's mind in that way. And what GTO did was centralise everything into a real logical path where the picture was whole. And if anyone, even though there's different ways of trying to teach GTO and learn GTO, the ultimate mathematical function of it is the same. And that meant that I could listen to different people talking about it, and they would still be singing off the same sim sheet. And that really pulled in so much of the scatter and so much of the mess.
I know what you mean about that. You've got so many people with so many different takes on things that sometimes it's so difficult to know where to start. You listen to this and you start to learn about it, and you learn it, someone's take on a certain concept, and you try to introduce that into your game, and it's just so difficult, isn't it? Because then, even when you learn these things, they might be sound, theories or sound ideas, but once you've got them in game, changes in the way the people are playing at the table and other things just flip it all on its head. And so you can't just it's difficult to learn it by rote, if that makes sense. You can't just learn it and then implement it. It's got to be fully understanding it so that you can implement it properly and adapt and make changes on the fly.
Yeah, it is beautiful. I mean, I read Dara O'Keefe's book, and I cannot be more thankful to the way he's put things and the way he structured his book. I've read, because I've also read the Ace Video book, apologies if I pronounced his name wrong, which is so much more of a textbook. And if that was my introduction to GTO, I probably wouldn't have persisted, because it is brilliant, it's like phenomenal, but it is also just so heavy on math, so heavy on structure, so heavy on charts. I remember when I first tried to dip my toes into GTO years ago, and I just literally almost cried at the...
Is this what people have actually learned to play this
game? So they've learned that Ace 2 offsuit, you've got to remember that you raised it last time, because you've got to fold it 10%, raise it 10%, all in 30%, and then the other percent, I don't know, you're just guessing. Like, it seems ridiculous, no one can do that. But then you learn what the point of the Ace 3 is there, and it's like, okay, actually, the Ace 3 can get better hands to fold.
And the good news is, guys, listening at home, or gals, is actually you don't need to know it to that level at all, especially when you're at mine and Tain's level. It just isn't necessary to know it at such a granular detail. It really is, I think, about grasping the concept of it. You're not going to be playing people that are close enough to playing at equilibrium, playing GTO, not at this stage. You're not going to be playing those people, so you don't need to counteract that with like optimal play. So it's it's just one to to bear in mind. You know, it can seem really daunting, like you say. You read books on it, and suddenly it's like, wow, do people really know this? Do people really learn this? And the answer is yes, probably. Like, you know, at the upper echelons of the elite poker players are up there doing it. But on the learning journey, when you're going to start to see results, is just about more of a general understanding and then building on that.
Yeah, don't for a second believe some of the people on YouTube who talk as though they know this off by heart.
Yeah.
They've got something next to the screen that you can't see that's got the charts.
You know what,
that's
Tain?
got the percentages.
I think this is what I like about, you know, bigging ourselves up a little bit here. This is what I like about our podcast, is we don't ever pretend to know all this stuff. Not to that level. We are striving to get good, but we are humble all the way through. This is what I understand. This could be wrong. We don't dwell on that. It's just, all right, I'm going to take a stab at this hand. This is what I think the move is here. This is why. This is what I'm trying to back this up with. But at no point is it, no, this is correct and no, you're wrong. We debate, we challenge each other all the time, and that's great. That makes for, I think, good listening. But it's never from a stance of you're incorrect and I'm correct. It's always, it's a challenge more in the, all right, explain that deeper. You know, where's that come from? And I think it's all that challenging, that debate it just helped us study and kept it going, kept the learning going.
Yeah, I think I didn't even mean it. I think is probably the most common thing that we say, and I think is one of
probably because we're from Essex.
Oh, well, that's well. Probably everyone, mate.
Like,
but saying I think, and this is what I understand it to be, and hopefully that helps people relate. We are never going to be teaching someone something, even though people could hopefully learn from what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Or the opposite, if you feel that you've got some knowledge that you could help us with, like it's always welcome. We need that engagement because every step on our journey is, you know, standing on the shoulder of giants. There's people that have helped us on this way, and that's never going to stop. So,
all right. So, what can our listeners expect from these episodes, Tain? They've got me and you.
Like this, a lot of waffling.
We do a hell of a lot of hand analysis. Every episode is based around a hand analysis. So even when we're waffling, we'll be talking through an actual hand that either one of us has played or we've got from somewhere. It will usually be around kind of one or two aspects. So it might be, for instance, a hand that's a multi-way pot, and then we'll then be talking around that hand every step of the way. So we'll be talking about pre-flop action. We always look at like the stack sizes, who goes to the flop, who the pre-flop aggressor was, all of the kind of fundamentals of, you know, what you should be looking at with poker. And then as we go through the flop, the turn, the river, we're going off on these tangents, and I think that's what makes it a really good listen, because we'll go off and we'll start talking about concept. We might spend 10, 15 minutes talking about something was related to the hand, but then it's just more of a, right, hang on, we're learning something here, and we go into it deep. But it always pulls back to these hands and this hand analysis. So you can expect a hell of a lot of hand analysis. You can expect a few mistakes, I think it's fair to say. Like I say, we're not perfect. Yeah. As the episodes go on, I think you'll start to see more refined thinking, a bit more targeted. We're a bit more kind of know what the key things to talk about are. So we still go off on tangents, but it's more focused around things that are probably more relevant to the hand.
Yeah. Don't be put off if the first couple of episodes, first 5-10 episodes, some of them are really long. So if that is off-putting, either wait for more to come, or go to the later episodes, because we do refine what we're talking about. We actually start looking at a hand and we go, you know what's actually, this is what's important here, or this is multi-way. We're getting too confused with stack sizes.
But I'm not apologising for leaving those episodes out there and listen, because
they're wonderful.
Because this is a journey, and like to suddenly jump in later down the stage, like later on when we know we're a bit more refined, it's just not what we're about. We're about, you know, a humble learning journey. So yeah, if you're on one too, I hope you enjoy listening in and learning with us. Yeah. We always open it up to, you know, drop us a note on the chat, drop us a message, and we really do want that. So we'd really love to sort of get people's ideas. And if you feel like we've not said something that's quite right, or you've got something you can expand on, just jump in. We'd love to start this as a bit of a community as well. It's not just about me and Tain.
And also, hopefully, and let's cross everything that we've got in sight, join us on our successes. That's the ultimate goal. Like if we're here in 2 years' time, still playing $1 tournaments, still saying, look, I'm the best GTO theory person in the world, and then I sit down at the table and I can't beat a $1 sit and go, then well, maybe that'll be the last episode.
This is it. I would hate to say that if we don't end up in Vegas crushing tables, that we've failed, because we certainly haven't. We are very much learning and getting a lot out of this. We love doing the shows. We love putting out this content there for people to listen to. We love the game. We love, bouncing ideas off each other, and the whole hand analysis and learning is just fun in itself. The ultimate goal is that we do get to Vegas and crush it and play some really big tourneys. I think we said earlier on in the episodes, didn't we, that we'd want to get to around £20,000 each of earned
disposable bankroll.
Yeah, but that's all from playing poker. Like not just injecting like thousands of pounds and taking a few punts at some sort of game, then we suddenly won. It's always going to be I don't know how realistic that is. Full-time jobs, kids, and all the rest of it. But we're going to carry on. I mean, it's creeping up. It might be that we realise, we are at a level now that where we can increase the stakes to a certain amount or take a few bigger punts, and there might be a bink. But I want to feel sure that when we do go to Vegas and play in the World Series, that we're ready for it, or we're at a decent level, that we've kind of done ourselves justice, in that we're not just going there, for a laugh, or I'm just going to save up 20k and go.
Yeah, there's no one I'm going to sit down next to at the World Series of Poker and think, this is going to be hard. Not necessarily because they're a name, but because they play in such a way that makes my life tough and my decisions difficult. It will be, I know exactly what you're doing, because I'm going to do the same.
Yeah. That's the dream, baby.
Yeah. Right, fingers crossed.
All right. Well, look, we hope you enjoy the show. This has been great, and this is actually the first time we've sat face to face and done an episode. Yeah. This is weird. We usually, me and Tain are on different ends of a laptop, and we're
with each other at the moment.
Yeah, we're actually sitting right in front of each other. Got the mic in the middle.
Not sure whether to talk to each other or talk to the mic.
Yeah,
so
it's weird. Usually, I'm staring at the hand on the screen.
Yeah.
So this is cool, man. This is cool.
So yeah, but I mean, if you're still with us, even just during episode 0, and you got to
to this stage, well done.
Minutes,
done well, yeah.
Appreciate it. So thanks ever so much for just coming along with us for 25 minutes of journey. But hopefully, there's hours more that you can get from us.
Yeah, great stuff. Take care, everyone. See you soon.
Cheers.